Well, I can say I've not seen a movie like that this year. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. I finally got the chance to see the brand new film Titane? Titane? It's not Titan, I can tell you that much, but this is a movie that has premiered at multiple film festivals this year. I'm in the midst of New York Film Festival, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, but we're going to talk about it. I need you guys down below. How do you feel about this movie? Is it one that stands out for you? Spoiler free, of course. Let's get into it. So, following a series of unexplained crimes, a father is reunited with the son who has been missing for 10 years, and an explanation in the summary also states Titane, a metal highly resistant to heat and corrosion with high tensile strength alloys. Now, that's all I read before going into this movie. Even seeing some footage from the trailer, I had no knowledge before going into Titane, but I knew that this director's other outing in Raw was one that just caused so much of a reaction from audiences across the board, and everyone said, all right, let's see what you got next. And I believe this film is just a combination of so many different genres and feelings and emotions and character types, to the point to where I've never really seen a movie like this before. Now, does that mean that I responded to it in the same way that everyone else will? No, I think there are going to be vast reactions to this movie, but for the most part, I see a lot of people appreciating the art and the craft behind this film. And let's start there. I believe the direction is fascinating, because this movie comes with a vast lack of dialogue. A lot of the construction has to do with putting visuals first over that. Now, obviously, the screenplay has to be tight for this movie to even work on any level, but a lot of it is about the visceral experience. Sometimes violence, sometimes you get a lot of nudity, a lot of hardcore elements up and down across the board here. So many moments that are going to make you uncomfortable. A lot of body horror in here too. And, you know, at times it's just showcasing the body, but at other times you're seeing what one, maybe two characters are having to go through, and the progression of what our lead is having to go through. You see that moment at the beginning, and this is my way of trying to tiptoe around spoilers here because it's a hard movie to talk about. You see what she goes through, and then where we end up, and how that progresses into something that I've personally never seen before, okay? Do you like cars? Are you a car person? You might like this movie. But the way that Agatha Rosselli plays this, Vincent Lindon is in this movie as well, and he does an incredible job. Their bond, or lack thereof, their chemistry to very broken people. And we get an example of what our lead had to go through at the beginning. She's troubled in so many different ways. We get a flashback of a car accident as a child that left her with this metal plate in her skull. That's kind of where you get the name Titane. And then she has developed this obsession with vehicles, all sorts of cars, and this also puts her in this mental state to where she'll act completely irrationally at points to where she probably shouldn't. I mean, there's a lot of violence that comes from this character, and at times it is explainable, at other times it's not. We see one scene where there is just so much. I mean, it's a massacre of sorts, and I won't talk about the motivations behind that, but it does somewhat come out of nowhere, and you see that all of this buildup for this character has pushed her to do things that we can't truly understand or describe her motivations. And then we get the character of Vincent, played by Vincent Lindon, who comes in and turns this movie from something that was so, and sorry, my can keeps making noise, it's bad can. Monster, not a sponsor. I wish they were, though. I love them. The movie goes from aggressive and visceral and full of horrific elements to surprisingly emotional and tender, and it becomes about the relationship between these two characters that, again, is dealing with two individuals that just come from such a broken background. But once they find each other, things begin to drastically shift and change. And what they go through together turns this movie into something else entirely. So whether you want visceral and undeniably chill-inducing visuals, or something that has a bit more oomph behind it on an emotional level, I think you're going to get all of that from this film. Now, does it come together as a whole in the way that I personally hoped it would have? And I know a lot of people are absolutely loving this film. I could not quite get to love for some reason. Maybe it's the detachment from the story as a whole, or just so many things happening at once, having to balance so many genres, and there's a very huge difficulty within that. So I don't fault Julia as a director, and I love the idea that this movie is trying to bring. And then where it progresses to, and what this movie is truly about, I won't say, but it has a lot to do with cars. So, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So when that happens, I could truly say I've never seen a movie like this. But again, that's going to be too much for some. And describing certain elements, I mean, I'm still not fully there with my thoughts. I've sat on the film, I've thought about it, I've tried to work out what each moment means, and there's just so much to it that I feel like I have to see it again. But it's also a movie that I don't know, because it's so much happening, I don't know when I'll see it again, because it's a lot, man. I mean, this movie is something else.
This is something else.
But I like the fact that it's trying to deal with so many things like gender identity and your body and the changes that you can go through both physically and emotionally with how you handle certain things that happen in your life. And there's a lot to it that I believe speaks to the kind of talent behind the camera here, and even the writing. I thought the screenplay was just so interesting, but it is trying to juggle so much that at times I feel like there's going to be a detachment from those watching it and what the movie is actually trying to say itself. And the character motivations are so difficult to get behind that at times you will just have trouble relating to the characters themselves, which may cause for detachment for a lot of viewers. So that's not going to keep everyone from loving it. Absolutely, as I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this film. And I really appreciate this movie, what it was trying to do, the visuals behind it, and just the fact that it's unlike anything else I've seen this year. That's a positive, absolutely. Before I give you guys my score, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. We're almost to 100K, so if you guys want to drop your thumbs up down below, that tells me you enjoyed this video, you want more like it. This film oozes originality and a distinct visual style that will stick with you. There is a slight detachment from the story, but that is made up for with some outstanding moments that will stick with you. Absolutely, I'm going a 73% with my score. So again, let me know, are you watching this movie? What is your favorite movie that you've seen over the last week or two? We've had quite a few, and there's still some that I haven't even reviewed, so what should I review next? You guys tell me down below. I did see The Power of the Dog, the brand new movie coming to Netflix that premiered at the New York Film Festival, TIFF, all of those fests, so I may be bringing you guys a review tomorrow. You're the best. I'll see you soon.